Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Raise Your Banner podcast. Today I'm discussing a topic that a lot of people are familiar with, but may not fully understand: panic disorder. Panic attacks and panic disorder can be frightening, confusing, and often isolating experiences. My goal with this episode is to help break down what panic disorder actually is, what it feels like, and some of the ways people can manage it. Stick around and enjoy the episode.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Raise Your Banner podcast. Today, we'll be discussing a topic that a lot of people are familiar with but may not understand: panic disorders. Panic attacks and panic disorder can be frightening, confusing, and often isolating experiences. My goal with this episode is to help break down what panic disorder actually is, what it feels like, and some of the ways people can manage it. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is a panic disorder or panic disorder? Panic disorder is a type of anxiety disorder that's characterized by recurring, unexpected panic attacks. A panic attack is a sudden surge of intense fear or discomfort that reaches its peak within minutes, and it can come out of nowhere. People with panic disorder often worry about having more attacks or start to avoid certain situations that they think might trigger one. The thing is, panic attacks are much more intense than everyday stress or anxiety. They can feel overwhelming and can cause a variety of physical symptoms that make people feel like they're losing control or even having a medical emergency. So what does a panic attack feel like? Imagine suddenly feeling an intense wave of fear or terror, like your body is in immediate danger, even if there's nothing actually threatening you. People often experience symptoms like a racing heart, sweating, shaking, shortness of breath, chest pain, dizziness, and even feelings of detachment from reality. Sometimes people feel like they're choking or like they're going to faint. For anyone who hasn't had a panic attack before, it might make it hard to fully grasp. But the experience can be so powerful that people often end up in the emergency room, convinced they're having a heart attack or a serious medical issue. What's tricky about panic disorder is that these attacks often seem to come out of the blue. It's common to have one panic attack due to a stressful situation. But people with panic disorder have these attacks unexpectedly, even in situations where they're not consciously feeling stressed. And because of this unpredictability, many people with panic disorder start to feel anxious about having another attack, which creates this cycle of anxiety. This fear of future attacks is called anticipatory anxiety, and it can lead to something called avoidance behavior. People may start avoiding places where they had a previous panic attack, or somewhere they might stay away from crowded places, public transportation, or other situations that feel difficult to escape from a panic attack if it were to happen. In severe cases, this can lead to agoraphobia, where people become afraid of being in a place where they feel they can't get help or escape easily. Now let's talk about some common myths and misconceptions about panic attacks and panic disorders. One common misconception is that panic attacks are just in your head, or that you can snap out of it. The reality is that panic attacks have real physical symptoms, and it's not something you can control just by thinking differently. Another myth is that you're having a panic attack, there must be something specific causing it. While it's true that stress or trauma can contribute to panic attacks, people with panic disorder often experience attacks even when they feel calm. Panic disorder is linked to a sensitive fight or flight response in the body, which can trigger these intense reactions with no clear external cause. So what can you do if you're dealing with panic disorder or experiencing panic attacks? First, if you think you might have panic disorder, reaching out to a mental health professional can be a helpful first step. They can help you get a proper diagnosis and guide you through treatment options. One of the most effective treatments for panic disorder, again, is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. In CBT, you work with the therapist to understand the thought patterns and behaviors that are reinforcing your anxiety. You learn how to challenge irrational fears and gradually face situations that may be triggering. There's also a specific approach within CBT called exposure therapy, which helps you confront and gradually desensitize yourself to the sensations of a panic attack, making them feel less overwhelming. Medications are also an option. There are anti-anxiety medications and often antidepressants that can help manage the symptoms, though they usually are most effective when combined with therapy. Breathing exercises and grounding techniques can also be helpful tools. During a panic attack, the body often goes into a hyper-aroused state. So focusing on slow, deep breaths can help signal your body that you're safe. Grounding exercises like focusing on the texture of objects around you or mentally listing things you see can help bring you back to the present moment and reduce feelings of detachment. But I also want to acknowledge that panic attacks can be deeply scary, and managing panic disorder is a process. It's okay if it takes time to find what works for you, and there's no quick fix. Small steps like learning about the disorder and developing coping strategies can make a difference over time. If you're listening and you're someone who experienced panic attacks or has a panic disorder, I just want to remind you, you are not alone, and help is available. Panic disorder can feel isolating and even embarrassing, but there's nothing wrong with seeking support. Mental health is just as important as physical health, and taking steps to address it is a sign of strength. And if you're listening because someone you love has panic disorder, the best thing you can do is support them without judgment. Remember that what they are experiencing is very real, and it can mean the world to know that someone cares and understands. So to end today's episode, panic disorder is a challenging condition, but it is also something that can be managed with the right support and treatment. Educating ourselves and others about mental health is one of the most powerful things we can do to break down stigma and create a more understanding world. Thank you for joining me today on the podcast. I really hope this episode has helped shed some light on what panic disorder really is and how we can support each other in managing it. Remember, no matter how intense things feel, help is out there, and there's always a path to healing. Keep on moving forward and stick around.
Raise your banner if you need help, and raise your banner to let others know you're a safe person to turn to. Until next time, stick around and keep on moving forward. Research conducted by Matrixa Research Group. Artwork created by Jenna Bordinger at jbordingerart.com or at jbordinger_art on Instagram. And music by Josiah Renton, DJ Slowbro.